the first single of the album, is sort of like Daft Punk saying, "Hello, we're back."
Exactly, yes. We thought it was a fun thing after a break of 3 years to come back with a track that would be called Daft Punk One More Time. So it was a very simple statement in the title itself. And we always like to play with a simple idea and messing around with cliches or concepts this way.
The vocalist on the One More Time track is Romanthony. How did you come to meet him?
We really wanted to work with him, I think, on homework, and we couldn't really because it was really hard to catch at that time. We met him about 3 or 4 years ago in Miami, and we became friends in the meantime, and really started to see each other and exchange ideas, and we came up with the idea of working together on 2 tracks on the album, the first one and the last one, One More Time and Too Long, and it was mainly about just friendship. The track itself is the break, and the beginning and the end is just some beats, but it's not like the song and then it breaks down. It's like the beginning of the track and the end, to us it's more the bread, and the inside. The important part in One More Time is those 2 or 3 minutes without the breaks. Mm-hmm. And it's really much a song. People see it as a club tracks or with vocals, but it's more a song, and the rest is even the backing track. The voice is the only important element in a way. And even not the voice, the way it's treated, or the vocoder, rather than just the emotion that you can get or you can't get, whatever. But it's funny, the rest is production, but we really wanted to transmit emotions and some feelings in it using different techniques, but the techniques that we use are only secondary to the emotion itself. Yes, we were a big fans when we were little of a Japanese TV show called Captain Harlock, and that was shown on TV, and we just had the idea of contacting the guy that had done this show. To work on the video for One More Time. So the video was an animation, was done in Tokyo. Mm-hmm. Very funky, old style designs and looks.
There's almost a dramatic change in the video in which the party suddenly gets raided by sort of agents or something like that. And it gives you the feeling that this is not all that there is to this video. Is it because of the bells that go into aerodynamic? Is there something to follow after this one?
That's a surprise. Discovery is about discovering things. So we like the idea of making that conventional thing, but we're working on a second video. Yeah, we really like tapping and things like Van Halen or AC/DC and like Eddie Van Halen solo in Michael Jackson's Beat It, for example, which is really like one of our favorite piece of music with guitar. But we like the idea of having this album in a very compact way, and we would do then longer mixes in the future, but we really wanted to have a short, compact, energetic piece of music all together. And we like the idea of experimenting and going into first different, like a whole epic thing that we would go into some hard rock, heavy metal, synthetic beats, and then into more, like classical electronic music and things like that. So it's just a way to sound and try to do things that are not really done or that haven't been done for a long time, but using it with the technology of today and having fun. But just, it's in a very visual way, in fact. We like the idea of listening to the music, then you really see images and you can really see things while you're listening to the music. In a very, like a soundtrack.
I listened to the George Duke album that has, of which the sample is taken from I Love You More is the song, I think it's called. You can feel, I think, that you're trying to capture within this song, because the first 5 seconds of the song is entirely in Digital Love.
We knew George Duke and George Duke records before, but when you sample things, you just go around records and then listen to a lot of things, and if something catches you here, then you're like, wow, this is interesting, So we just started with a sample and then wrote a song on top with DJ Sneak and just messed around with production, added some keyboards and guitars, and then, not just about the simple house music approach that could have been just to taking this sample and loop it and just having a beat, rather than constructing a whole song with chords and different things that we would add on top of that. Too Long can have many meanings, but people will understand the real meaning maybe one day when they see the lyrics. But that's what we like about the lyrics of Discover in general, is that there's many ways to interpret them and to look at them. The long wait is over. It could be also like, it's been 4 years since we have been making an album, but I don't know. It was an important track for us because it was the first track that we finished of Discovery of the album, and that was like the proper, maybe the only house track, really 10 minutes long, and that was really the starting point. We look at the track, we're really happy with it, with the vibe, and saying, okay, we've got one house track within the rules of house track. We don't want another one on the album. We don't want to do 15 house tracks because it would be just too repetitive or too going into one direction. So we really took it from there and saying, okay, let's try to go in many directions and play with traditional and not conventional song structure and have fun with the technology, going into many different direction styles, baroque, buggles, whatever, just having fun with music and with production, trying to bring something new by browsing all these music influences, but mainly about showing that house music for us is more a state of mind than a style itself. And the first album was really about making electronic music accepted. It was like a manifesto, and now electronic music is accepted. So there was not if we had done something exactly like the first album, it would have been pointless in a way. Or if not, it would just have been like a dance music album in a very functional way in order to make people dance. And we didn't want to have an album that would be just functional, and maybe something that would be also a statement and having a manifesto for something else. And maybe the statement in Discovery is something very playful, very colorful, and having a lot of fun with a really open mind of every musical style. That I think that electronic music and house music and the people that like this music, or we're part of the people that really are really tolerant and are really liking heavy metal and disco and funk and soul and classical music, and showing this new wave of people that are tolerant. And because in the 80s there were maybe all those styles, but they won't be only, you had to fit only in one category. So either you were into hard rock and you can't stand disco, either you're into punk and you can't stand a new wave or something. And I think now electronic music has the freedom to assimilate those styles and be proud to accept all of these different forms of music, because at the end it's just music. It's just emotion, it's just beats. The funny thing is the house scene had to be purist in order to survive. When it was an underground thing, you had to stay in a way. You had to stay really close to your rules in order to make those accepted. But now house music is not underground anymore. So not anybody that likes house music can say, okay, I'm underground, because now it's mainstream, whether they like it or not. So being mainstream and being purist was dictatorship if you're being mainstream and purist, because then it's the rule and then it has to be the rule. This is very, very unhealthy. This can become when you look in history and you see things that were mainstream and that was about purism, it can be very close to fascism after, So, which is completely different to the state that was 5 years ago, that was about rebellion. And today, the idea is about mixing things and mixing influences and not having a purist attitude. A purist attitude is a great thing as a minority in order to survive. But if once the revolution is done, sometimes it can really lead to dictatorship. And that's what we believe. We don't trying to convince people, but it's all about a state of mind and a very free spirit, very, very free mind, very playful and and maybe happier statement today, because the situation of electronic music is good. There's much more freedom than in the past, much more flexibility, but people they try to destroy the obstacles and the walls, but they shouldn't build themselves the walls around them.
Todd Edwards was also on the album. How did you meet up with him?
We met up before homework as well, but Todd is a very, very good friend of mine, and a very great human being, very warm and very talented musician as well. And it's one of my best friends, and it was a great way to collaborate, the three of us on this track, and to I don't know, he's a very religious person. We're not really religious ourselves, but it was really funny to crystallize this emotion and that kind of faith that there is in his work and his music, and it was a great friendship for us, and a great collaboration as well. And he's not really a singer as well, so it was really cool to make him sing this kind of really sexy rock, white male vocal. I turned away.
There's a card in the CD. What can we expect from that? With the card, you can access a website, the Daft Club website.
It's like a web page where you have to first download some technology, and then a Daft player that will make you able to then download new pieces of music and new things, and keep those on your hard disk, and new exclusive music. There's starting yesterday there's a new track that we did, which is called Ouverture, and that's like celebrates the opening of the Daft Club. And there will be also very soon new mixes of tracks of the album, and a lot of digital surprises, having us the ability to create using internet technology, and all of this for free. When you're in a club, unless you go every night, you don't see the same thing. So it's the idea also that some people might have access. If they go one day, there will be maybe one thing which will stay only one day on the club available, and that's the other thing to make it, I think, more fun. It's not just a package of additional things that you get. And that's really the idea of a club, when some people can miss something if you don't go one night on the site, which is a really interactive idea that we like about that.
Are you going out much?
Not right now. I'm working too much. I have to wake up early, and I'm working late at night doing things. But I wish I would be able to go out back again more, maybe in the next months.